Hello and welcome to KX Insiders, the show that puts you, the developers, front and centre for all things KX. I'm Daniel Baker, Head of Evangelism, and in this episode we're going to take a whistle-stop tour of KX Insights, our new cloud-native streaming analytics platform designed to help customers simplify the way that they ingest, process and visualise data at sub-second speeds. I'm super excited to show you what we've done and how we are continuing to empower our customers with actionable intelligence through event processing, high-speed analytics and machine learning interfaces, all of which leverage industry standards to ensure openness and interoperability. What's more, by harnessing the power of a microservice-based architecture, we've made the platform easy to deploy, be that on premises, in the cloud or even at the edge, empowering customers to focus on business outcomes rather than infrastructure constraints. This translates into fast, flexible, data-driven intelligence and the power to make smarter, more insightful decisions that yield competitive advantage. To explain more, I'm delighted to be joined today by Paul Carroll, a technical evangelist in my team who has been working closely with our R&D departments and building the documentation for the product. Paul, welcome. So as I mentioned in my opening statement, Insights is built as a cloud-native microservice application and leans on technologies such as Kubernetes to orchestrate and scale. But I'm interested in understanding a little more about the installation process and any prerequisites that are necessary for a successful deployment. Could you therefore give our viewers a quick overview of the installation process?
Of course, Daniel. Insights is designed to be deployed in any of the major cloud providers or private clouds with minimum prior experience required. Code.kx.com provides detailed guides on manually setting up clusters as well as using pre-configured scripts for generic deployments, taking advantage of Terraform, an open source infrastructure as code software tool. In essence, users define their data center infrastructure using Terraform's own declarative configuration language or optionally using JSON. And this way, the infrastructure configuration can be version controlled, but perhaps more importantly, deployed, destroyed, and managed using CI/CD frameworks, just like any other portion of the codebase. Once clusters have been created, code.kx.com takes the users through a series of guides aimed at interacting with Kubernetes, DNS setup, and deploying Insights itself.
Paul, that's great. Thanks for clarifying. I guess that one of the benefits of this type of deployment method is that it's cloud first, but not cloud only, meaning that Insights can integrate with existing on-premises installations and operate over public, private and hybrid environments. This allows workloads to be distributed accordingly and in turn future-proofs any cloud migration needs. So moving on to the actual product experience, I'm keen to see an end-to-end demo. Do you have a simple workflow that you can build out for our viewers?
Would love to. Insights uses Keycloak, an open source identity and access management solution, to authenticate users and manage permissions. Keycloak is fully integratable with an array of identity providers including Microsoft, Google, GitLab and many more. Once authenticated, the user will be taken to a landing page for KX Insights. Here they can start importing data using pre-configured widgets or create pipelines to ingest, manipulate and write data to separate endpoints, take advantage of multiple workers to handle large data volumes, and finally explore the data sets that they have ingested. To see this in action, let's create a pipeline to ingest a free taxi data set and start manipulating. The first stage is creating a new pipeline and choosing a reader method for pulling the data. I'm going to use a KX Insights native curl functionality to pull a JSON file. Now that we've provided a JSON endpoint, we can decode our data from JSON into KDB. As you can see, this is as simple as dropping a decoder and linking the flow. Now that we have our data in KDB, we can use an apply function to modify the data in transit. Here we're going to clean up a geom data type, effectively an array of x-axes and y-axes, to give us an aggregate x and y axis. Once we have linked the decode node to the function node, the final stage is to write the output of the flow to an endpoint. For this example, we're going to be pushing the output of that data to a table in a KDB process. Now we can save our pipeline and deploy. Once the pipeline completes, we can explore the data set using KDB or SQL. And from this, we can begin to build rich visualizations. We can build dashboards to help inspect and derive valuable insights from the dataset. Here, I've created a table to pull the first 10 records in the dataset, as well as an aggregate pie chart grouping by borough. And finally, we're going to plot the X and Y axes that we derived earlier in a Google Maps API map.
Thanks, Paul. I love the graphical user interface and how we're empowering users to simplify ingestion, manipulation and visualization of data. However, I've been in technology long enough to know that developers will often favour the command line interface for its speed and consistency. Are we allowing developers to programmatically build these pipelines via a CLI?
Absolutely. KX Insights allows you to build pipelines using assembly scripts ingesting from Kafka, object storage, QIPC, and RT command line interface, to name but a few. From there, the user can provide a spec script to modify the data in transit, just as we did in the UI. This spec script can be written in Q or Python, and then they can deploy the assembly using curl. This takes an assembly as code approach, meaning version control and CI/CD integration, in essence, all the stuff developers love.
Paul, thank you so much for spending the time with us today and for the great demo of KX Insights. I can't wait to see how the product evolves and look forward to working with you in upcoming episodes as we begin to dive deeper into the platform. If you like what you see, then why not join us on March the 1st for our guided community hackathon, where you will work in a team to build and visualize solutions that provide holistic views of COVID-related data via rich, engaging dashboards on the KX Insights platform. It promises to be a great day, and we would love for you to join us. To do so, head over to the registration page on screen, enter your details, and we will send you the joining instructions. In closing, what we have seen today is how KX empowers business decision makers to contextualize real-time data streams against historical data sets, and in turn, derive rich insight from new opportunities to gain competitive advantage. What's more, our cloud-first architecture and rich interoperability with an expansive catalogue of microservices enable rapid, flexible development of new applications that delight developers and accelerate business value. To find out more, we have several resources on screen. And don't forget, you can carry on the conversation at any time on our community channels. I look forward to seeing you there.